So let's talk about how you can gym cell specifically for your phenotype. Because obviously, if you're going for a pretty boy type of look, you can't just go and get fat and gym cell like you would an ogre, and vice versa. So you have to know the strengths and weaknesses of each one and find one that is most suitable for you as well and your own features. So yeah, let's get started. First one is the ogre. Now, when it comes to the ogre, right, usually this only works if you're either Balkan or Slavic or from that kind of phenotype. You have to be tall and have a wide frame, and usually, if you're ugly, right? Because if you're not ugly and you're tall and you have a wide frame, then you should pretty much pick literally any other phenotype would be better than the ogre. So with the ogre, right, you're just trying to get as big and scary as possible. So you're gonna have high body fat. And honestly, I would just really suggest against it because you have very low appeal. Maybe if you're in some um poor country or area in your fucking Balkan or Slavic country, then this might work well. But for literally anywhere else, for literally everywhere else in the world, it's like you're just fucking you're just fucking ugly big guy. So yeah, if you're in a poor area, if you're Balkan or Slavic and you're tall and you're fucking ugly as fuck, then maybe consider being an ogre. But if not, then literally anything else is better than this. And again, I don't know that many people that fall into this phenotype, so I can't speak that well on it. But this is just what I know. Now the next one is the Chang phenotype, right? This is like any East Asian passing guy. And this is one I can actually speak more confidently on because like I'm not saying I'm a Chang, but like I am East Asian and I can speak a lot of this stuff from experience as well. So firstly, right, features, you gotta be East Asian, at least East Asian passing. And ideally you wanna be at least 5'10" and 6 out of 10 plus facially because nowadays, right, I'm sure a lot of you might know, especially if you're East Asian, because of mainly Korean media, but maybe Japanese media a little bit, but mainly because of Korean media, the collective East Asian male SMV has kind of inflated, has risen up in the past few years, which is a good thing, right? But again, obviously, if you are 5'6" and ugly, then you're not gonna be able to ride the wave um, that well because you're still short and ugly. So yes, East Asian SMV is on the rise because of Korean media, but you still have to be relatively tall for an Asian. Like I know in a lot of places this is like below average, 5'10", but relatively tall for an Asian and relatively good looking. And for your physique, right, you're going for more lean type of look, like lean physique, and you can have low to moderate amount of muscle mass. And really, you don't actually need that much as long as you're lean. You can get away with having pretty low muscle mass, especially if you have a good frame. Now, if you have a poor frame, right, narrow clavicles, then you're gonna need a bit more muscle mass to compensate for that. Now, in terms of the appeal, right, this is a lot of it is from my own personal experience and experience of people I know. But firstly, the 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 Pajitas. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but basically there are a lot of people from girls from that region of the world who are really obsessed with Korean media, and if that's your thing, right? If you're East Asian and if you're interested in that, then sure, go ahead. Personally, I'm not that into those kinds. If you are, no no judgment. And yeah, I can tell you from my own experience, this is true. Can also attract other Asians from Western countries, obviously. The last one is interesting, right? K-pop obsessed white girls. And this is coming from a personal story I have. So when I was around 16-ish, yeah, 15, 16-ish, no, I was a Hamza fan, right? Maybe if you know who Hamza is. And I was training in the gym, I was watching Hamza every day, and I was doing cold approaching. And there was this girl I dated who I cold approached, and she was one of these, I wouldn't say obsessed, but yeah, she was really into K-pop, and she was a white girl. And just tell you the thing, I'll just tell you the story specifically about the gym because at the time, right, like I said, I was a Hamza fan and I was hitting the gym, watching Hamza every day. And I remember showing her this photo of my gym progress, my fucking 1 year gym progress. Um, yeah, and when I showed it to her, she just did not care at all. She was just unimpressed. She kept trying to change the topic, and looking back, it was so extremely cringe that I did that. But yeah, from my experience, right, a lot of these, if you're going for this, then you don't even need that much muscle mass, right? In fact, if you try and flex your muscles or do like any gym cell shit like I did, it's just gonna be extremely cringe. And I'll also say this, right? A lot of them tend to be high quality non-primitive. I think the reason for this has to do with, well, there's a few reasons, but I think it's mainly because of the Korean dramas, right? I don't know if you're familiar with it, but no, that's another big part of Korean media, which is the Korean dramas. And they have these like male leads, and like basically the girls who are into that, they tend to be more high quality non-primitive, so to speak. Now, you can't say the same about the next one because for the BBC phenotype, firstly, obviously you have to be black and you have to have very high muscle mass for that BBC phenotype. But when it comes to appeal, personally, like this is again, I have the most personal experience with this because that's what I fall into. And for the other ones, I kind of have to learn from other people who I speak to. But from my knowledge, the people I speak to with the BBC phenotype, you're not going. It's a bit harder to get high quality non-primitive, if you know what I mean, because you have such high sexual dimorphism from being, ideally tall, having a lot of muscle mass, and having that stereotype of the PVC. It's like you're more likely to attract short term, right? One night stuff, more casual stuff. And you're less likely to get a high quality non-primitive, especially what you would call snow bunnies, right? So it's yeah, so this they tend to not be wife material. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I should say. Because again, right, I can only really speak from personal experience for this one. The other ones I have to learn from other people. And by the way, you can go check out my private Discord server, link in the description if you want to, bring up something, maybe tell me something, because I'd be happy to learn from you. We've been getting a lot of really intelligent people in my private Discord server. We've been talking about a lot of science-based training, a lot of anti-gym cell training where we actually focus on appeal and aesthetics, a lot of some black pill stuff as well as um what's it called, some diet stuff as well, right? We've been having this like discussion about primal diet, basically about the goddess diet, the Ray Peat diet, raw liver, stuff like that. And it's great, right? We have like, I'm very fortunate to have all these very intelligent people in my private Discord server. And if you're an intelligent guy, then I love to have you there as well. But last one, white pretty boy, right? This one has the most universal appeal, right? You can basically succeed basically anywhere in the world. Again, it's just similar to the chang, right? The chang is basically like an Asian version of the pretty boy. And again, lean, low to moderate muscle, you have very universal appeal. Highest appeal out of all of these. And lastly, I should just say, right, a lot of these I've been categorizing them by ethnicity and your race. But even if you are from a different race, you can still fall into one of these categories. I'll just give you an example right now. So for example, right, like I previously mentioned, Hamza, he would fall more into this archetype, right, of the BBC because of his build, even though he's not actually black. And likewise, someone else who is Pakistani, they might fall into more of the pretty boy archetype as well. So it's not exclusively limited to race. Yeah, so that's the last thing I want to say. Again, private Discord server, link in the description. Go check it out. See you in the next video.